And now for the final ban from basically Unknown, we'll see if they're on the same wavelength as us with this Slardar potential that could be coming out from Loader here with this final ban. Another hero that we've also seen him play, yeah,
they banned it.
They banned the Slardar. I really think the Alliance would have wanted to go for that. Obviously, another hero that kind of fits a similar role and similar amount of action is the Loader Centaur Warrunner.
Veno!
But it's going to be a Veno. So,
okay, farming Veno maybe?
You reckon? Or the Veno in the mid lane and dodging the DK Razer matchup and putting DK in the safe with Dazzle and Shadow Demon?
That could also be a very legit way to do it. Because that way, if they put Razer mid, like nothing on basically Unknown actually does well against Venomancer. You can just spam wards, and Razer kind of struggles because he can't really deep-push that well. Like, Plasma Field's okay, but in terms of how much mana you have to spend versus just dropping wards all the time, the Veno will be able to sustain a lot better than a Razer as the lane plays out. So yeah, definitely could be mid as well, but safe lane DK seems pretty lackluster. We'll have to find out, though. That's really the path they want to take. Although, if you did put Veno mid, a disruption is basically always a kill because it's disrupt and gale.
Ooh, so now starts the final pick. It is going to be a Rise not on the Beastmaster and on the Razer. Okay. Definitely opting towards a Rise, sticking on his role in the mid lane, picking up the Razer. Nico, of course, the position one, so it's going to be the safe lane Storm Spirit, and it will be the Beastmaster in the off lane. And it is going to be Pycat on the Venomancer, so it will be that mid lane, and it is going to be the Loader safe lane Dragon Knight.
Yeah, the mid Veno should actually do well against pretty much anything that basically Unknown can field here. And the DK in the safe lane will probably just end up working out because the two supports are so strong. Like the laning potential of a Dazzle and a Shadow Demon together is pretty potent. And even if you get a Disrupt into a Dragon Tail, it still gives you that kill potential on top.
Yeah.
So you're always going to have to be worried no matter what lane you send down there. Maybe they even just go aggro with a Razer, Sky, Witch Doctor, and they just decide to play against the DK and lane that way. And at least then, you're going to have a Beastmaster against Nature's Prophet, which I assume Bulldog will probably win that lane. But then your aggro tri lane should do well, and your mid should struggle a bit, but you can just use them to gank, I guess, once you start to get to like 7 or 8. I think the Alliance's lineup is very good, though. I don't know if basically Unknown are going to be able to stand in the laning phase. That's their biggest issue right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it at all. It is going to be a hard game for BU. Obviously,
they're going to lose like 2 lanes probably. And that's my guess.
But of course, if basically Unknown are able to take this, it's going to be a pretty impressive stuff. You know, if they're able to bring down the side of Alliance here. Obviously, we've seen it happen once today, but that of course was from VP Polar in the second game. And VP Polar, obviously, well, understandably a very strong team with the invite to TI. Basically Unknown, unfortunately for them, they didn't even make it to the qualifiers. I'm sure they'll probably give it a shot in the open qualifiers to work their way up because, I mean, I don't know what other kind of teams will be in the open qualifiers, but basically, you know, you've got to. They're probably going to be one of the favoured ones.
Yeah, and the open qualifiers for sure. The European qualifiers themselves are already going to be a total mess with all the teams that they have in there. It's maybe one of the most competitive years for the qualifiers in general for any region, except maybe NA qualifiers. Those ones are probably quite easy, actually.
Ooh,
it's like Team
shots
Tinker and then
NA Dota.
Well, no, it's just because there's so few American teams compared to the European scene.
Yeah,
there's actually just an insane amount of European teams.
Well, I'm just going to have a quick pause here, so apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen, but of course we are getting ourselves into the first game of the second series.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something about Pycat. I think production was trying to say show Pycat.
Let's have it, okay.
And then they actually just said it to us instead.
We're showing Pycat. Mr. Perandas Olsen Lille. I hope I pronounced that right.
Probably
not.
Quite
a mouthful that, but as we can see, most played hero is pretty good at the old sniper. Decent. I mean, do you feel we'll still see Pycat sniper in 6.84?
I'm sure we will at some point. I mean, it's a hero that he personally loves, which makes him disgusting. I mean, I love the guy. I've talked to him a bunch.
Yeah.
But come on. He likes Sniper and Viper. It's like 2 of the most disgusting pub heroes ever in the history of Dota.
Here we go. We're going to get ourselves back into the game now as G is called by our eyes. We're going to get the cogs into motion here as we start up Alliance versus basically Unknown in the first game of the 2-game series here at the ASUS ROG DreamLeague Season 3. I'm ODPixel, I'm here with Draskell, and I'll give you a lowdown on what's going on the side of the Dire today. We're going to have Stomanen on the support Witch Doctor. It's going to be Nico Baby on that safe lane Storm Spirit. Pure Evil is going to be joining the gang on that support Skyrath. Mid lane will be a Rise on the Razer, and finally that's going to leave Shashlo on the solo off-lane Beastmaster. What are we seeing from Alliance? And it looks like a bit of action, Andy.
Yeah, this is a Boots first DK as well, and Shadow Demon. They want this first blood really bad, and I think they'll get it.
Yeah, there's the disruption. Loader's going to move in nice and close there with the stun, and then the heal bomb from Ake. That's a way to get first blood.
Yeah, I think Magica actually tried to stop his auto attack, but he didn't stop his illusions auto attack command. So instead of giving the first blood to Loda, he ends up taking it with the illusions. So still, first blood going the way of Alliance. And this is a very, very aggressive start here from them. Two of their heroes starting with boots first.
Okay, and well, after a little bit of action, who have we got on what on the side of Alliance, Sandy?
All right, so Loda is going to be handling that DK, heading his way towards the safe lane. Pycat is going to be playing that Venomancer Magica, handling the Shadow Demon. Going to have Ake playing Dazzle, so we see a cask thrown out here. Not really much to come of it. And finally, Bulldog on his Nature's Prophet.
Okay, and Pure Evil heading up here, but Bulldog, he's able to take himself the rune. There will be a concussive bolt thrown out. Stamanan moving in as well.
Oh, this is
got
boots.
A cask in a few seconds and chasing down Bulldog here. They're bringing him down to half health, but yeah, it looks like that's all they're going to be able to do here. Jendi Bulldog is able to get himself safely back up to the high ground. So mid lane, Pycat Veno up against Arise Razer. Who's going to come out on top here?
Well, the Razer actually didn't start with boots, but as you can see, it's just a matter of you get the link off, you steal some damage, and until the Venomancer gets a couple of levels, I think Arise will probably have a slight lead, but once he gets some wards going, gets a couple of points into the Gale, there's never going to be an opportunity for Arise to get a kill here. It'll just turn into like a farm fest, I think.
And this lane on the bottom, obviously, for Shashlo Beastmaster. We've seen the power of the tri-lane already, but that quick pick-off in the jungle on Witch Doctor. You know, if Beastmaster's caught out position, that very same fate could happen to him as well.
Oh, he'll explode.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a chance you can live through that combo. The DK stun at level 1 is still 2.5 seconds, so tied for one of the longest disables at level 1 that you're going to be able to get.
He's giving Arise a bit of a rundown here. I mean, the poison and tick damage on top of the Gale, you got to be careful.
Yeah, and they did make Gale at level 1 lethal damage because before it didn't actually tick at all. It just did 0 damage, but now it does 10. So you need to be very aware that you can just die to that damage now.
Bottom lane, Ake just trading hits here with Shashlo. Looking at the offlaner for the side of Alliance, obviously it is Bulldog on his signature Nature's Prophet. I mean, I would talk about whether it's going to be a nice or not lane for him, but I kind of feel that he can deal with any kind of situation now. Mid lane Arise trying to go in onto Pycat, but the slow is there. And Pycat trying to turn around, looking for the poison damage, but of course Arise, he's stolen more, and he'll actually find the kill there. Arise bringing down Pycat, both getting very, very low, but Arise just coming out on top there.
I think he wanted to try to get the kill with poison, as we're going to see disruption here.
Here's your heal bomb. It brings Shashlo low. They're going to try and chase him up to the high ground. He's going to have to run back towards the mid lane. He will get himself out there.
Yeah, it was close. Almost getting the kill there. And unfortunately, the Pycat ends up dropping in the middle lane. But like I said, the higher level he gets, the harder it's going to be for the Razer. And plus, a core position Veno, I think people maybe have forgotten how much damage that hero can actually do during the mid game. Like, just getting a good Poison Nova off during the team fight can just annihilate a lineup, especially one that's going to be trying to group up and try to make things happen with their pushing potential with the Beastmaster, of course. And I mean, their push isn't maybe amazing, but they are going to want to fight.
Indeed, so far, both safe laners getting an even amount of farm here as Dragon Knight on 11 for 3 and the Storm Spirit on 11 for 7. So this safe lane Storm Spirit, in terms of item potential, do you feel when you put in this position, you're more than likely going to rush for the Bloodstone?
Well, I guess Bloodstone would be the safer choice, just to kind of delay the game out and farm, because late game Storm against Alliance, like the Storm is a great counter pick to the Fury and just being able to always stop the Rat. And then Bloodstone on top of that means that you're very unlikely to get bursted down at any point. And the only person who's going to make an item to really deal with you is going to be the Fury in anyway. So you deal with the hero who's supposed to deal with you, unless Loda goes for a Shadow Blade, and then it might be a bit concerning. But overall, I do think that late game, basically no one might have a good shot at winning it.
Okay, indeed. And in the mid lane, obviously we've seen a lot of aggression in terms of both heroes' CS. Fairly even. 10 for 7, 9 for 2, so Arise with a slight edge with that increased amount of denying going on.
Yeah, he's getting some nice links off as well. Like, he's always getting at least like 30 plus damage every single time. And that's more than enough to just ensure that you're going to be getting at least a decent amount of creep kills. He starts to finally pull ahead and manage to go with the tower tanking here. Top lane as well. Bulldog gets picked off.
Yeah, Magica just, takes a lot of damage there. But indeed, as you said, top lane, the tri-lane, they must have gone in, and they did bring down Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, nice pick off, being able to kill the Bulldog before he starts getting to a point where he's just too much to deal with. A nice rune swipe there from Stomanan. He gets Gale, though.
Yeah, Pycat could certainly give this one the old rundown. There is backup coming, though, for the side of basically unknown as Pure Evil comes in with the arcade bolts. Now Admiral Bulldog TP's in, finds the kill onto Witch Doctor, but now Pycat being tethered up, but
nice,
the Sprout
bro.
is there. Very nice. There's going to be a buyback from Witch Doctor. TP into the middle tower, maybe seeing if he can find Pycat here, and he will go straight in. Maybe he can find this with the cast. He's going to go for it. A couple more right clicks might bring Pycat down, but it won't. 6 HP. Pycat will be able to get himself out, and unfortunately for Stuman in there, the buyback doesn't pay off.
It was so close, though. Like, there was almost zero hesitation with that buyback as well. He just went right back into it. I love how Bulldog just takes his time to casually farm the enemy's jungle. He's like, oh yeah, you can just go and try to gank. It's fine. I'm just going to farm here. This is the Bulldog play.
Indeed, got to get that maximum efficiency here for the Bulldog. And of course in the mid lane now with Pycat heading back to base. That'll give some space here for the Shadow Demon to get himself some EXP. Magicka to get himself leveled up. But still 2 for 2 on the board, 5 minutes in. All things said and done, looking pretty even across the map. If anything, slightly favouring basically unknown in terms of the farm.
Yeah, it's not too much, though. Like, the real problem that basically unknown are going to run into is there's this really long time where the Storm's not going to kind of come off a big impact hero because he's safe lane farming and he's getting some EXP, but he's going to need at least 1 or 2 items to really start impacting the game. Whereas DK, he just needs 6. And then he walks into the tower with Corrosive Breath and you just lose buildings. So Alliance are going to probably be able to establish a good amount of control by the time that Storm has his impact items.
Okay, and now Pycat back on the map and back towards the mid lane. Magicka sticking around here in the Roche pit, just waiting to see if anyone goes for the 6-minute rune. And well, Arise will come in as well with the ball, but Magicka disrupts Arise up straight away and heads himself up to the high ground. That will give Arise the space to grab himself the rune and bottle it up before he returns back to the mid lane to continue to contest Pycat here for the farm. And Pycat down top of the round boots, commits to 1k gold. I guess do you have to go for the straight up arcanes on this hero, or can you afford to go for something else as a core Venomancer?
It depends on if you want to get Poison Nova at 6. A lot of Venos will skip it because it costs a lot of mana at level 1, and most of the time you don't even have the pool to cast it because it's 200 mana. So if you Gale, you put down 1 ward and you Poison Nova, you're out of mana. Like, that's all you can do. So if he gets Arcanes...
Bottom lane, there's been a wraparound from Magicka, who finds the disruption onto Shashlo. Heal Bomb bringing him down to half health. Bulldog TPing in as well. There's no escape there for Shashlo as DK, Loader, will be able to find himself the kill.
Yeah, nice rotation here. And on that timing, they're also going to have their Dragon Knight level 6, so they're just going to go for the tower. Like, no doubt about it, they're going to get this. Like, no matter what rotation they do, I think this tower is done for. They're going to TP 1 to the tier 2, and they're also rotating over Arise, but Alliance are anticipating this movement.
Yeah, Magicka on the sidelines, Arise coming in. Magicka will back up. The Alliance, they're just trying to be careful not to get themselves caught out here. They brought down the tier 1 to half health, but Arise and Shashlo here pulling the creep wave round past the tower, making it a little bit harder for them to get the push on a mid lane. But Pycat, Ancient Seal there from Pure Evil, and Nico zipping in now. He's hit 6. Will be able to find a little quick and cheeky kill onto Pycat. The ward's doing a fair bit of damage and annoyance to both Pure Evil and Nico, but Nico with the Invis rune will be able to keep himself safe and out of lane. Bulldog TPing in though, looking for Pure Evil, and well, maybe Pure Evil just hanging around a little bit too long for his own good there after the poison ticks him down.
It was a nice call from Bulldog, realizing they had no health. Can he get the pull off?
He goes in, and with a paralyzing cast, holding Bulldog there, bringing him down very, very low. Now Bulldog turns around with the backup of Ake. They've trapped up Stamanen here in the trees, and they will be able to bring down the Witch Doctor there. So a couple of very tasty kills there going to Alliance.
Bulldog always seemingly in the right place at the right time, and he's already level 6. 8 minutes in. Compare that to the level 4 Beastmaster, and just goes to show the difference in impact on a hero like Nature's Prophet in the early game comparative to a Beastmaster before he has his Roar available.
Loader's got a haste. He might look for a bit of funky action here against Shashlo, chasing him down the lane. There's your Dragon Tail. He's got the Breathe Fire, Nature's Wrath as well. Bulldog being credited for the kill there onto Beastmaster.
God, I don't understand why teams give him this hero. like really, why don't you just ban it? They play so well around it too. It's not even just the fact that Bulldog is a phenomenal Prophet player. It's they always know what to do with the hero every single time. Like, he TPs mid, he gets a counter kill on the Skywrath. He baits the Witch Doctor into going on him and gets another kill and ultis bottom. So 3 kills in the course of less than 2 minutes that he's able to get just because of the Prophet. Like, I don't understand how you could ever think that it's okay to do that. Like, to give him that hero.
Oh, in the top lane is going to be Bulldog returning there to find himself a little bit more farm now on top of what he's already got. But indeed, in terms of Well, if we have a look at the individual heroes' net worth, I'd imagine Nature's Prophet, he's got to be up there. Yeah, he's third at the moment on the board, just behind the Storm. And Loader at the moment, who's at the top here on the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, the DK safe lane farm is still a bit interesting to me. It is working out, though, in the sense that if they leave him alone and he has his Dragon form available, we saw how fast just him alone was able to push the tier 1 tower. Like, his team was just standing around him, and he was the only one hitting the tower and eventually dropped. So there definitely is some merit to it. And during the mid game, he's going to be pretty darn tanky. He's already going for drums, probably transitions into Shadowblade or BKB, depending on how much control over the game they have. And middle lane too, Pycat's now level 7, so he's got that mass ward up and engaging onto him. Good luck with that. If they commit, they're probably going to lose heroes if they go on him.
And it looks like he's doing exactly what you said at the moment, forfeiting the Poison Nova due to limited mana pool. Picks up the Aquila and now has the Belt of Strength, so looking to potentially go for the straight-up treads, just for more of that right-click DPS build in mid lane. Bulldog, he TP's in, looking for a Sprout here onto a Rise, but a Rise backs up. That's just going to create space for Loader to start to go to town here onto the tier 1 in the mid lane. Fortification will come out, but the push, it's certainly going to be there from Alliance, and I don't know, man, basically unknown. Well, I mean, how do they stop this? How do they stop this style of play now?
I don't think they can. Like, the Storm does not want to initiate on these heroes. That's the problem. Like, sure, he can TP for a counter gank or try to just pick off a hero like we saw him do earlier when they killed mid, but it's really hard to fight 5 versus 5 against this, especially now with Poison Nova being available. So if they commit and like go all in, they're going to eat like a 5-man Poison Nova. There's going to be Weave, I think, soon as well. Ake is halfway to level 6, but with Dragon form, like, these towers are just dead.
Yeah, this tier 2 going down pretty quick. I mean, we're 11 minutes in. This is going to be the tier 2 in the mid lane falling. And Loader moving forward there, just trying to see if he could get the Dragon Tail onto a Rise. And we might be able to close the gap. There's going to be a smoke up now from Alliance. Potentially thinking about heading into the Roche Pit, or maybe seeing if they can get a kill on the bottom lane.
It looks like a fake back. They're just going to loop around and see if they can catch anyone going, but doesn't look like this is going to be a hard kill.
No, they're not quite able to find the disruption, and I mean, well, they do lose the bottom tower there. Nico on the Storm Spirit able to claim himself there.
And they get something out of that engagement, and Nico does look like he's opting for the Bloodstone, so I think that basically Unknown, they do have the potential to fight, but I think what is more likely to happen is they'll try to draw out the game until Nico has like his Bloodstone Orchid, and you're going to start seeing the Storm kind of come into play. But it's really hard to play the Beastmaster around this lineup because you want to use a Beastmaster to pick, ideally, but they're not really being given the opportunity, and Alliance are going to have a tendency to stick together just to be able to, on Dragon Knight's ulti, just push buildings like every single time it's up, and it's less than a 2-minute cooldown. So every time it's available, they can just walk into a tower as 5 or pick off one hero, and it almost guarantees they're going to be able to get something. And he actually got the tower last hit with trees. Like, come on. Like, really? I know they hit harder now. They hit for 28 damage, okay? It's a bit harder to deny, but still. Like, compare Bulldog, level 8. He's like halfway to Orchid. And this Beastmaster who's level 6 and has like a belt of giant strength. Like, the difference in overall game impact is too massive between the offlaners.
Well, we're going to see basically Unknown here try and take another tower for themselves. Coming in on the top lane with the push. Nature's Wrath flies through, does bring them fairly low, but Nico bottoms himself up and we'll be back up to top health. There's going to be Alliance going for Roshan now. Loader, Magicka, Ake and Bulldog join forces. And with Pycat just scouting it out here on the high ground. Doesn't look like basically Unknown are going to head over here. They're going to look to just commit and find the tier 1, which they will do. As Shashler is able to pick that one up on the Beastmaster. But this is going to be Roshan going the way of Alliance, and I mean, after this, with the creep wave momentum on the bottom lane, they could very well look to take another tier 2 at just 13 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I think they just go straight to tier 2 tower. I think basically Unknown will be able to TP back though, so I don't know if they look to defend. They're not going to be able to get their own offlane tower, but here we go.
Nico going in onto Pycat. Pycat will be able to get the Supernova off onto Nico. They do manage to bring down the Pycat Venom here with the Death Ward, but both Nico and Stamanic getting so low. Nice. He will get denied just in time by a Rise, but Beastmaster actually falls as well on the top lane, as there was a TP into the lane from both Bulldog and Loader. 2 heroes down on the side of the Dire, and all things said and done, things not looking too great for basically Unknown.
It's like we mentioned too, when you commit to Pycat, you're going to lose a hero. like every single time. Poison Nova with the Sting and the Gale on top of that just does a little bit too much damage. And when he gets mech finished, the Death Ball is going to be even stronger. I really don't know if basically Unknown are going to be able to hold it long enough. Like, they need to delay the game somehow. They need to try to smoke up and find a pick. Hopefully Arise doesn't just die right now.
Yeah, Nature's Wrath, and in comes Bulldog. Arise might be able to bring down Magicka on the back of it, but the defensive disruption, Magicka just baiting it all out, will be able to TP himself back to base as well. And I think you got to ban the Nature's Prophet.
I really, really, really think you always need to ban that hero. Like, look at how much of a difference the game is just because Bulldog is involved in 7 kills right now.
They might lose Pycat here. As basically, going into the Radiant jungle, they will be able to pick off the Venomancer.
It's good that Nico's getting the kills. Like, he is the one, I think, who is maybe most important in terms of being able to just, like, all right, well, I got Bloodstone now. I can continue my farm, or I can try to fight. Because it's still going to be hard for Alliance to kill him. Like, they don't have really insane burst damage. It's just when they get together as 5 and start sieging, it's very hard to engage that. Like, that's the part that makes their team very strong. And Orchid now pretty much going to be done on Bulldog, and this is like
15-minute Orchid.
This is insane.
On top of treads.
An offlaner with a 15-minute Orchid, and the Beastmaster who's not even at book 1. Top lane as well.
NZ straight onto Arise with the Dragon Tail, Magicka, Ake, and Bulldog. They're all here. Razer will go down. He's going to be down for 45 seconds. No buyback available for Arise, and now the push just begins onto the another tier 2. And
I would even go as far as to say this is almost an outdraft. Because if you think about it, during the draft, we saw the DK and the Fury and like immediately. So what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you see these 2 heroes? We're going to get pushed. Razer sucks against 5-man push teams. He is terrible. So they only picked that hero in a lane counter sense. So when you have a hero that's picked just to counter a lane, and you don't even get the lane that you want, and the enemy team last picks a hero who adds to the push that you don't necessarily beat that hard in lane, like, how are they supposed to stop this Death Ball? I mean, I don't know if it's a huge outdraft, but I do think that Alliance's lineup is better.
Okay, Disruption and Soul Catch onto Shashlo. There's your Dragon Tail, and your Gale flying through as well. That's your Beastmaster down. Tier 3 now at less than half health. Nico, Arise, and Pure Evil, they're left to defend the high ground here. But the push continues from Loader as the tower does indeed tick down. And I mean, well, Razer's nearly got his 4-staff complete.
I don't, like, they need like a mech or something. Like, they need something to be able to fight into the Poison Nova. Because what happens if Alliance, they get another Roshan, they set up with wards, right? And they're sieging your base with DK in his ult form. You don't have a way of fighting without losing heroes. Like, you can't fight into almost level 2 Poison Nova with a mech Venomancer as well on Pycat. And Dazzle also having heal. Like, they have good sustain because they have Arcane Boots on the Dazzle. They have a lot of healing between the mech and the Shadow Wave. They have Weave for armor. Like, their lineup is built to end the game.
They're going to smoke up here inside the base. It catches Shashlo, Pure Evil, and Stomanen as they head out as a 3-man down this bottom lane, maybe in towards the Radiant jungle, see if they can find anyone. But at the moment, Alliance, Ake, Pycat, Magicka, and Loader, they're all on the top lane. It's only Bulldog who's back there at the bottom. Now Bulldog joins the force at the top, so this smoke from basically Unknown, it's not going to achieve anything for them.
Yeah, but I understand why they did it. Like, they needed to hope that Alliance were going to back and maybe try to farm for a bit, but Alliance have no intention of doing that. They just want to go high ground.
Yeah, I mean, this with the Weave, Dragon Knight sitting on about 30 armor at the moment. I mean, yeah, they've got Magical Burst, but so's Loaded. Dragon Tail onto Nico. Soul Catches one. Nico will be able to zip himself up to the high ground. Gets himself back in with the rest of the gang. Drums are popped by the side of Alliance as they take the range racks. Now they turn their attentions to the melee racks. Nico zipping in, zipping out, shaking it all about. Shashlo with the Primal Roar onto Loader. Arise seeing a fair bit of damage. Paralyzing cast will bounce between Bulldog and Loader. Arise trying to go in. Deathfall gets thrown down as well. Pycat gets the Poison over onto Arise, but Arise, yeah, he's going to go down from that. The Deathfall wasn't able to bring anyone down on the side of Alliance, just kind of forced them back from the base, but it was only prolonging the inevitable. The melee racks will go down now as well on the top lane, and with the tier 2 down in the mid, Alliance can just rotate and look for more. Nico, he's standing there, but the Orc is going to be there. Loader looks for the Dragon Tail, will lose the ultimate, but the Gale connects. Nico, he's going to be okay for the time being, but I don't know if the base is going to be okay, and I don't know if the team's going to be okay. It's definitely not okay.
Like,
no, it's not okay.
This is insane. Like, their Rax is going to be dead, maybe even before Arise is alive. They have another Glyph if they want to try to buy time, but even if they're alive, Well, Aegis is
GG.
gone on Loda.
And
they
Arise
GG'd, okay.
DCing straight away there.
I honestly don't know how they were supposed to stop this push.
That was a sore one, that one.
Well, I understand the Razer pick. Like, you see DK, and we talked about how Razer could come back just to counter the DK. But maybe if they didn't have Profit, the Razer pick would have been okay. But what ended up happening is there were just too many things to have to deep push. Like, having Plasma Field and Wild Axes, those were their only two deep push abilities, right? And neither of them are really that good. You want, like, lower cooldown.